Hello, my name is Rosie Leon, and I will be graduating with a master's degree in communication management with an emphasis in public relations. So, my challenge presentation is about how to create content to establish brand equity. So, Gary Vaynerchuk is very important to me. He was very inspirational. I learned about him in one of my classes at DU. He's a marketing media entrepreneur, and he started with a franchise of lemonade stands when he was a child. This other picture that I have here of myself, Gary, and a picture of Kaylee from the show Firefly. And this image represents what I knew. I just knew how to paste a picture, cut and paste, copy and paste a picture, and that's all that I knew. So at the end of this program, I will have reviewed my classes and what I learned about content, creating content to establish brand equity, and it'll show the metamorphosis through the progress of this Kaylee postcard. So the challenge is how to create content to establish brand equity, and Gary Vaynerchuk has been very inspirational to me because he has been doing the same thing, growing and learning and developing content for a very long time. And he's described as a serial entrepreneur. He's always looking for the next thing. He was making a lot of money on his own ventures as a child, and then his parents recruited him to come and work at the liquor store, the family liquor store, where he was bagging ice for them. And he was able to take that into an online business and grow the business so that it made a lot of money using the internet to sell the wine. And then he called it the Wine Library, and he had a YouTube channel as of 2006. He has written a lot of New York Times bestseller books to show you how to crush it, how to market, how to think about what's happening. And it describes a content model of what you should do to create content. One is to document in long form. So that would be like me taking this presentation that I'm making and all the various aspects of it, the Gary Vaynerchuk part, the classes part, my insights and where I go from here part, and breaking those down into small pieces to create for a smaller platform so you can distribute them among everything. And he has been on the cover of Entrepreneur Magazine, and this shows him he's mastered the art of engagement, which is what we need our content to do. And the way that this is relevant is just on my most recent watching of the latest Hallmark movie, there was a character who was the grandma, and she had her set up and she was recording herself, and she had a hashtag dancing abuela. And she's just recording herself and talking about how she has 50,000 views now, and shows that creating content is something that everyone is doing and should be doing, and is the thing that is going to be the next big thing. So you're not just watching TV now, you are the TV. So I started the program in March of 2020, and that was just as the pandemic was starting. I had already had this plan to start in March, but now I was on furlough. So I got to experience my first class without having to go to work. And I had Professor Mia Elizardi in experiential learning and communication management. I did an industry analysis report on public relations, which is my concentration. And I learned about the fathers of public relations, Ivy Lee and Edward Bernays, and what Edward Bernays did was he showed how to market cigarettes to women because previously it was just men, and it was the women's liberation movement. So he has a campaign called Torches of Freedom, and he told these ladies that were marching to go ahead and smoke. Then he told Vogue magazine, hey, look what's happening over here. So he was able to create content and distribute it by commenting on the Vogue media. In applied critical thinking, I learned about system 1 and system 2 thinking, the fast thinking and the slow thinking. And I also learned 4 villains of decision making in the book by Chip and Dan Heath called Decisive. There was a lot of great things about learning how to think critically and thinking and assessing your situation. And most important for me was detecting errors in your thinking. In persuasion and influence at Summer, I was able to take 2 classes because I was still not working. And so I decided to challenge myself, and Professor Kevin showed us the 6 principles of persuasion by Robert Cialdini. And we were able to do a video presentation, and it was promoting the importance of not believing in social media as the news source. Then we had in this autumn another 2 classes. I had Communication Society and Theories of Application with Professor Dave, and that class was more challenging for me because I used to just watch TV and not really think about what are the messages encoded in the visual media that I am watching. I didn't think about ideologies that are being placed in there. So this was an eye-opening class for me, and I got to do a mini ethnography survey. And Zoom was the first time I was doing Zoom with this, and it was very much a learning experience and learning how to do a video graphic essay. But by the time I was doing the business fundamental class, I learned a lot from Professor Bob Nogueira. He was very encouraging. He had a lot of speakers that came in to talk to us. All of his assignments made sense because they built one onto another. So at the end, you had the whole thing. You had all the pieces together so you can make your final presentation. And here I chose a topic that I knew about because Gary says you should always talk about what you know. And I work in lodging, so I chose the Marriott Hotel as my company. And I created 2 initiatives that I thought would work for personal experience. So it was very interesting creating a presentation for the board of directors of Marriott. 2021, I had storytelling through research and measurement. And I didn't get to do 2 classes because Disney decided that 2 classes is too much. So even though I was still on furlough, I was no longer able to take 2 classes. This class, I chose the topic of Serenity, my favorite movie. So something that I care a lot about. And I was able to research the marketing behind that. In strategic public relations, I created a public event, a PR event for Johnson & Johnson vaccination. It was going to be said at the Rose Bowl, and I had a budget and everything. Professor Koval was very encouraging. She was very clear on her expectations. She gave us great outlines, and I was able to create an event. And that was really important to learn how to put the strategy together of having a goal and the smart objectives and the tactics and the metrics to pull it all together. Then in the summer, last summer, I had PR writing and content with Professor Peter Jekyll, and he had a lot of writing assignments. There was so much to do in his class, and we started with key messages, and we did a PR brief. There was just a lot of things, one after another. So that class was very challenging, and it gave me a lot of experience in creating content in terms of writing and different news ways of writing a news release and a fact sheet and doing a media pitch. So that was all very informative for creating content. And then I decided to take a break from writing and was able to learn the Photoshop class, web graphic production, with Professor Karen Jossel. That class was a lot of fun. It showed a lot of creativity. And it shows here this image of Kaylee. I made changes. I was able to change colors. I was able to do saturations. I was able to make modifications. I didn't like the way it looks, but I feel like that's how I was. I was learning all these tools and just, turning knobs and pushing buttons and seeing how this works. And I was able to get this together. And then we have this year, I started with social media strategy with Professor Victoria. And here I became Hootsuite certified and social marketing certified. And I learned about Gary Vaynerchuk through her. So I've been learning a lot through Gary since I started following him as Gary V on social media. Then my final class in this concentration in communication management and PR was reputation management and crisis communication. And that was just nice to be with Professor Koval again. She again laid out everything that we needed to know. She gave us all the opportunity to put everything together. She taught us the reputation equals performance plus behavior plus communication. All of that times authenticity factor. And Gary Vee talks a lot about being real, being genuine. It's not about faking it. It's about following your passion and doing what is most interesting to you. So this was a great class to show how to be able to talk during a crisis communication event. And then I was able to analyze the situation and do a consultation on reputation management for a person that I care about. And that was a good project as well. And with our final capstone project, Professor Allison O'Grady has taught us how to review what we've learned with our annotation, digital file annotations and the reflection essay, and now putting everything together. All of that is helping to create content and helping me to know the importance of pulling all of that together. And then when I post something online, they're going to know, oh, that's Rosie. This is what Rosie stands for. So that's the brand equity. So the insights from the courses to the challenge, the strategy is something I really know. Goal plus smart objectives plus tactics and metrics. That is how we strategize. That's how we put things together. Is filling all of those out and being as specific as possible. And remembering reputation is performance, behavior, and communication. All those things come together and they need to be authentic. If you search for Gary Vee and you look for his quotes, there are so many. So I chose two that I think most apply. It's the best marketing strategy ever is to care. We need to care about what we are doing, about the message that we have. And in every of the classes that I taught and the companies that I chose, it had something to do with something that I knew so that I would have a starting base. So I needed to care about the message that we're putting out there. And you have to do content that is important to you, that you're passionate about. And then the people that care about what you're talking about will come to you. That is what Gary Vee says. And self-awareness, you need to know who you are, figure out who you are, optimize who you are, but never apologize for who you are. There's always going to be people that don't like your message, don't like what you say, that are going to judge you for any reasons, and you just have to be aware of what your purpose is and what you want. So I want to thank you for helping me to learn that creating content helps establish your brand equity. You need to know your audience and be genuine. You have to build our online reputation so that people can trust us and build trust with our audience. And my next step is going to continue growing with LinkedIn certifications. I want to thank you for this opportunity for learning and growing through the University of Denver and this program. My final image is here. One is of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's in an airport. He's on an airplane, actually. He has the earbud, so he's listening to something, but he's showing you a little postie of you're not lost. You're just early in the process. It's important for all of us to remember that where we want to be, we're not there yet. We're just early in the process, and we're on our way. And the final image, I'm very proud of this image. I changed the background, I changed the jacket color, and the chair and the umbrella is still the same. And the message is more legible because of the contrast. So I feel like I've learned a lot and I've grown, and there's still so much more to do, but I am very excited about being able to graduate from the University of Denver with this master's degree in communication management. And I'm hoping that I will be able to make a difference in the future for some company, or if I become a publicist in Hollywood, I'll be able to show exactly what needs to be done in order to establish brand equity with any company or person that comes my way. I'm very excited and I thank you very much.